Welcome back to the Culture Podcast. And as you know, 2025, the theme of the podcast is to elevate. Our culture for this year has all been how do you go up? How do you go to the next dimension? How do you really find yourself in a place where you've realized that where I am at this moment in time is temporary, but where I'm going is to go to greater heights, for finding new possibilities. And with me today, I have none other than Mr. Charlton Noble.
Good day, everyone. Hi, Marlon.
Charlton, absolute pleasure to have you here. And if ever there was someone that I'm going to speak today's topic with, it would most likely be you. And of course, one of the things when we're thinking about elevating, I think one of the biggest challenges is to start. And the reason why many people choose not to go up or choose not to start is because of the lack of courage. So today I really want to talk to you about how do you go about elevating your courage. And maybe just from your perspective, what does it mean to elevate your courage?
I think with what you just mentioned now, starting is one of the things that I believe is one of the most difficult things to do. When we're working in communities, when we're working with people, we find stories of people that are just like us. The difference a lot of the times is courage. Starting a business, courage. Going to study, courage. Writing your matric, courage. These are the things that requires a lot of courage, especially depending on the background that you might come from. And when we were doing some traveling and finding out about different townships in South Africa and going to a place like Soweto and seeing actually there's so much politicians that comes from Soweto during the uprising, and there's so much courage that they needed to take in order to unlock a lot of things for that community. And I think stories like that, when you think back, there's a lot that wouldn't have happened in our country if certain people didn't have courage. And I ask myself, living in Mitchells Plain, starting is one, and then continuing is the second step, like waking up every single day and deciding to do something about the situation, doing something about the family, doing something about a friendship, these different scenarios in which we need to take courage. So for me, it's definitely that first initial step.
Yes.
And sometimes, having to restart again, building from the ground up. And I think with RLabs, when we're thinking about elevating, there's a place that one needs to want to go to. And it's not necessarily being elevated. It's about that awakening part. And once one awakens, it's saying, okay, I'm in the state of elevation. I'm not in a place where I feel like every day I need to start from scratch again. I need to remember that actually I did start. And then just continuing every single day.
I love that, because what it means that heights or greatness doesn't necessarily come just from talent, but it comes from discipline. Right, so if you are disciplined to continue, it's the same with, if you think of we like using the analogy of going up, right? Because elevate means you're going up, and now you're elevating. So now you took the courage to take the first couple of steps. Now all of a sudden you find yourself, and you've gone up, but now you see something that you couldn't see when you were down there. But because you, like you said, you've got that momentum of going up, it means your worldview changes, right? All of a sudden, the things that you thought would not be possible becomes possible. But more so, it means that sometimes you just need one individual who's willing enough to have the courage, and things can change. Now there's a wonderful proverb, and I just want to read this proverb quickly. It says, "Walk with the wise and become wise," right? For a companion of fools suffers harm. So there's something about that, if you are willing, because many times a lot of people will tell you, "Nah, man, don't go up. It's not for you. You come from Mitchell's Plain. You can't do this." It's easier to find comfort in the company of fools, because you find comfort in that. But it says if you are willing to walk with the wise, you become wise. In other words, if you have the courage to go where you've never gone before, which means Now that problem for me is so powerful because if I'm going where I've never gone before, technically it means that I don't know anything. It means that I know the least, which means that I need to now find myself in a place of learning, a place of adapting, a place of because now I don't know.
And if it's discovered right before, then there is like a 90% chance that you don't know everything already,
Exactly.
because someone has discovered this particular field, arena, area before said person, right? So for me, when I look at that, it's like the question, and when I was thinking about culture and specifically this topic, is like, who is then wise? Like, where are these people that I need to connect with? Because if I feel stuck, as an example, then someone else can help me become unstuck. If I can observe and see that actually there's a company that I'm not in anymore, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm walking now with the wise, because it's a constant thing of like reaching, because like you mentioned, seeing now that you are exposed to something new and a new place, and these new conversations, it's like, okay, but I'm trying to now find something else. Who is there waiting for me? Where are what conversations are waiting for me? When we get out of our communities and we take a step of, look, I'm gonna go and explore this place. When you're like, okay, this field I'm uncomfortable with, but I know there's beauty of the learning there. Who do I need to speak to in that area, in that field? And I believe there's so much, and there's someone that has, because of discovery, there's people that takes courage to discover new things. And I think when we decide to walk with the wise, as an example, and this, I mean, is just, meeting people that are maybe experts in their field, or people that are not willing to hold their story in their field. Those are the types of people that one can be like, okay, I'm trying to explore something new. Let me go and connect with this person. Let me go and speak to this person. And let me really just take a leap of faith, because I don't know. And not knowing is okay. But knowing that you don't know is a good place to also be at, because now you can go and seek and find. And
because if you go into a room and you know the least, what a wonderful position to be in. Because it means you can ask questions.
Exactly.
You have an opportunity to learn. But there's something that you said earlier that it takes courage to discover. Because to go on a journey of discovery means you are moving into a place of the unknown, which means you are now stepping out into a state of uncomfort where there's discomfort because you don't know.
And the main thing about discipline is discomfort. Like it's impossible to discipline oneself and not experience the discomfort of that. And it's like you need to, sometimes you need to do things on your own, even just for a period of time. And there's a discomfort in that one almost needs to be okay with, for a period of time. And sometimes it's a month, it's a year, it's years of just that discomfort, until that unlocks something for a whole generation sometimes of people.
And that's all it takes, right? It takes one person to have the courage to go up. Then all of a sudden others will see, wait a minute. But if you now, there's no one in my community that's ever started let's call it an artificial intelligence business. AI, these things are way above our heads. But now you have a young person that learns on their own. They go to events where they feel they don't belong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? But they're taking the courage, putting themselves in uncomfortable positions to learn. And now they start building something that all of a sudden others see, wait a minute. But the fact that someone has now built an artificial intelligence company, now it means that someone else can also do it. It almost creates this kind of new normal. It's the same like if you going up and now someone says, hey, wait, we see that you are there. It means that I can also try and now go up. And many times we find that people, and that's why I always say that when you elevate, not everybody's going to go with you. Right? Sometimes it's going to be a lonely journey. Right? Sometimes people are not even going to be for you. But it does mean, are you willing to take the courage to go up? Because you can introduce yourself to everybody, but you only reveal yourself to people that you trust. right? And I think that is something that is very key if you're wanting to elevate, because you're not going to tell the whole world, no, I'm going to go up, I'm going to go up. You tell it for you would share it with people that you trust, people that you know is around you in that circle, and then you begin to push through.
Yeah, and there's people that's on your journey, that has been on your journey for years, that can encourage you in that discomfort, that can encourage you in that I don't know. I would many times whenever I'm in a new room, I do feel, like sometimes like I don't belong. And I'm very surprised at the end of everything, because I'm like, actually, but I do belong.
Yeah.
And actually, I do have the understanding in order to engage. And actually, my skills that I'm developing, they are getting sharper. I am actually elevating. But having people in your corner that you can lean on and can say, look, I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I'm not sure. And just having those people that can constantly encourage, and even finding new people, that can help one to get to that next place, to that next level. I think that is key. And having those people in your corner, like over a long period of time, I think is also great, because they can also help you remind yourself on why you even started. Because sometimes we forget.
Well, don't let others discourage you from going up, from elevating, but look at how far you've come. Yes, it seems that you might have just taken one step, but one step is way further than where you were a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I think that is very important. And maybe just to conclude, one of my favorite other sayings is this thing where it says, rise up, take courage and do it. There's something about when you are able to say, yes, I might not be perfect, but I'm rising up, I'm taking courage, and I'm just going to do it. I want you to maybe just listening to that, if there's one encouragement that you could leave to our listeners, our viewers, what would that one encouragement be for them when it comes to elevating their courage?
Rising up and doing it. Those might seem like two totally different things. But I think when one hears that encourage or hears those words, there's two perspectives. I can always think of, when will I rise? What motivation do I need to rise? But in some aspect of one's life, you have probably risen up already. It's just like, how do I live a life that is risen, that is elevated? How do I say that, actually, I am there, man, and then doing it is now the next step, but knowing that you are in the state of, I have elevated, I have already taken the step. Even the fact that these words mean something to you and it resonates with you means that you're already at a good place. Because we hear many things and taking courage, rising up. And I think the doing it now is then that consistency again, that discipline, that is where that gets elevated. But rising up, that is so difficult based on your perspective. But being at the perspective of, look, I've already risen up, let me just do it now. And it might feel unrealistic, it might feel, like, is this really, am I really in this state? Almost not even believing it yourself. But taking the step of just doing it can help you to see, actually, I have already risen up. I just need to do it every day. You'll find that when the next thing comes, when the next difficult thing comes, you'll need to rise up in that thing again.
I love that. So fundamentally, just to conclude with this, and the reason why I brought that up, because I love this idea of rise up, take courage, do it. It's the taking of courage that follows rising up, not before. And this is a very interesting thing, because it's basically when you get to the foot of the mountain, which is basically rising up, now you have to take this courage and take that one step. And just one step at a time, one step at a time. And when you look down, before you know it, like you said, your former self, you say, wow, look how far God has brought me on this journey. So Charlton, thank you so much for joining this today.
Thank you, Marlon.
Very interesting topic around, for us to elevate our courage. And I really just want to say, looking forward to hearing more exploits from your side. And thank you so much for being willing and taking the courage to be on this podcast.
Thank you, Marlon, for taking courage to to speak to all of us, and just even unlocking things for us as well through this conversation, and even just realizing new and greater things as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.